Hey everyone, welcome to my video where I describe the different types of hammerstone flakes that I take with a sandstone hammerstone. I'm gonna describe, demonstrate, talk about the reasons for why you would do this, about seven different types of flakes. Scrunching, strict angle overstrikes, brushing, slaps, punching, and rolling. So this one is for scrunching, so I'm just going to get right into it. I'm going to use a real sharp edge from a spall. It'll show it should show it real well. I'll make sure I get a good angle on the camera. I'll knock this piece out of the way. For the camera. Okay, so you can use the hammerstone you're using, the hammerstone that you are taking flakes with, or you can have a separate one. I've had one for years. I don't use it all the time. I just use it in special situations. It's a little harder and grittier. I don't know about harder, maybe they're about the right hardness, but it's a little bit grittier. It catches the edge really well, better than a fine sandstone will. But fine sandstone works just as well. This one's fine. I shouldn't say just as well, sorry. It works well, but it does not work just as well. When you need better isolations, better control of your platform, when you get into, you might need something harder. But let me just get right to it. So I take it, and what I'm doing here, I like to push it. I used to push it down, sorry. I used to push it down, and I don't like that anymore because I can't see what's going on underneath. But if this is the edge I'm treating instead of this one, it's facing up and I can see it. You have to be careful and not to push these into your eye or your face. So I'm pushing them to the left of me, and I'm just pushing off flakes. The definition I wrote down is scrunching, using a hammerstone to create platforms by taking small controlled pressure flakes. So these are the small controlled pressure flakes. I do this in every one of my videos whenever I'm creating platforms. Let's see if we can get a good view, different view here. See those flakes coming off? I mean, look at how this looks now, and right from here to here, and look at how it's going to look different in a minute. So I'm going to push them off. I'll put my thumb on this side and everything on this side to get leverage to push up, and the flakes are going that way. Now see the difference? I just got rid of a whole lot of thin part of the rock and created a platform at the same time I can take flakes from. The next one is strict angle overstrikes, and what I mean by that is it doesn't matter which hammerstone, but holding hammerstone firm and slightly overstriking while holding a strict angle with clear follow through. So what it means is if this is the point of contact right here, I'm not going this way, I'm going straight in, and I'm not changing the angle. It's usually used to build bevels or just remove a flake sometimes. Here's one right here. I'll just demonstrate right here on this one. This has got a little bit of a ridge, and there's a delta sticking out. It's sharp. I could cut myself. It's not ground. That's what I mean by that. And you can just put your finger under there and you kind of feel where the overstrike is, and you can take the flake. You don't have to grind it. I'll explain overstrikes in a minute, but I'm going to demonstrate that now in kind of a faster motion. So the same thing, I squeeze this, because when you squeeze this, you get more effective mass of the stone. This weighs so much. In my hand, it still weighs the same, but the more I squeeze it, its effective mass increases. So if I hold it loose in my hand and I hit something, it's got the force implied by this, or that's not the right word, applied by this. If I hold it harder, I've got the more weight of my hand sticking to that stone, and it acts as a heavier stone. So you grip it, and that helps keep it from rotating. Like I'm saying, you hold it firm, don't let it rotate, and you're striking through. It's an overstrike, and you're looking, and you want something clean up here. Typically, you don't want it all ratty like this. It won't work. So I'll demonstrate from you to me. I'll show it. I'm going to overstrike. I'm going to tilt it down in a weird angle. See the flakes coming off. I can tell that's not right, so I'm keep hitting it. No grinding. Okay, so I recreated an edge right there with a bevel underneath. That's not very pretty. So you can go back and you can clean it up. Same thing. It's a little brush to feel, and then a strict angle overstrike to get it. It leaves your edge thin and sharper. See how thin and sharp that is? And it leaves, you can quickly make bevels or whatever, just take flakes from one side to flip to go to the other side without having to do a lot of work like I sometimes do. This is just one way to do that. Overstrikes is not striking on a plane. Hammerstone catches the edge first, crushing and grinding until hammer catches and removes flake. I'll demonstrate it. I just did demonstrate it there, but that was with a strict angle. I'm gonna also do the same thing, but not gonna use a strict angle. So overstrikes means I'm making contact, but I don't plan to just hit that part. I need to change my angle and go in a little bit and then let it fall through like a hammerstone does, because I'll explain that in punching later. So you're not striking on the plane, you're making contact with the edge first, and it crushes the edge as it goes in, and eventually this grabs a thicker part underneath and then takes the flake. Overstrike, 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 overstrike on an unground edge. Brushing. Brushing strokes, or brushing flakes, I should say, there's a difference between brushing is, I use that term twice. So for brushing stroke, it's just me testing the platform. I do it every time before I hit the rock. Test, bam, test, bam. Those are brushing strokes, the test part. Brush, brush. You're listening for the sound that you're used to hearing when you take a good flake. If it sounds like something you remember when you take a bad flake, you gotta stop and reevaluate. But a brushing flake, like I'm talking about, is where maybe I already took some flakes here, right? In this case, maybe it was a continuous platform. You can see one there, one there, one there, one little one there, and one there. So I can clean up the deltas by brushing. They're already ground, so you have to be careful. So I'm just brushing down, I'm feeling underneath, trying to clean up the thick part of the delta to make my bevel or platform or whatever you're wanting on the other side even. Like this one, there's one sticking out, but it's concave underneath, and so you can't hit that the same way I just hit the first flake. I have to use a steeper angle, but I'm using a brushing stroke to just take tiny flakes. Removing small flakes by barely catching the hammerstone. Barely catching. Small flakes underneath. Barely catching the hammerstone. Brushing, brushing, brushing to get rid of the real small ones. Applying less force, more straight down to even out my edge. Let's talk about slaps. Slaps is whenever I use, let me get a drink. There's a fly bugging me. He's been here bugging me all day. I mean, every day. Slaps. The definition. Using a portion of the hammerstone mass to strike the platform in a slapping motion. So, I have this platform here, and I'm not saying this is exactly the setup for slaps. Just, you'll kind of learn it as you go. There's different ways to use the effective mass of your hammerstone, and whenever I say effective mass, I've talked about this in, I don't think I talked about it in Hammerstone Basics. I think I talked about it in Beyond the Basics, somewhere in that video. But if I drop this hammerstone, it, from a same distance, every time, it's going to apply the exact same force every time in my hand, just like that. But if I was to cut that in half and then drop it, then it would apply half the force. So think of that whenever I describe effective mass. So if I hit with the whole rock, if I drop this hammerstone on that platform from high enough spot that it takes the flake just by dropping it alone, then it would use the entire mass of the hammerstone. But if it were to, say, not hit in the middle, but maybe catch, let's use that in on camera, it looks better, I think, but maybe catch the end of it right there somewhere, then I'm going to draw an imaginary line from its contact, those two contact points right now. From there, imagine effective mass would be, somewhere, I'm trying to draw a line, somewhere up here, right? It wouldn't use the whole mass, the whole rock, the entire hammerstone. You're kind of swinging, and you're just hitting right here. So if you swing and you hit right there, then you can imagine that you're only using a portion of the hammerstone. So you're using effective mass of the hammerstone. You're changing the mass as you need to get the flake you intend to take. So with slaps, that's really all it is. It's a change. It's, I don't know, a change, but I'm using just a different mass of the hammerstone. I can do it like this too, like I just showed you, but when I say it on camera, I tend to find a spot where I can just kind of give it a little bit of a slap. So I'm going to demonstrate it right here. Maybe I'll demonstrate it both ways. Because this, right there, this is a slap. Okay. Real nice flake, perfectly taken, well intended. That slap uses effective mass. So This is also, it's not a slap, but it's using the same amount of effective mass basically to take the same flake. Okay, slap. You have to be careful. I mean, you need a spot that's sticking out. You don't want to use the wide flat part of your hammerstone. I see people doing it a lot because you won't make good contact with your rock, your platforms. It'll spread out too much, especially in the follow through. So right here, it's just like a blending delta, and it's not, it sticks out more on the corners than it does in the middle. So slap isn't the right one. I'm going to use it anyway. I'm going to hit the middle. I'm going to use a corner up here. Hopefully you can see that I'm slapping. Look under there again. I definitely hit the corner. No problem though. Slap again. Tiny slap. So it's just using a portion of the mass of the hammerstone, and the swing is slightly different. Punching. Definition of punching, I kind of just described it. It's using the entire mass of the hammerstone to take the flake. So sometimes you see me, I say I'm going to use a punch flake, and I'll use the end of my hammerstone like that, and it uses the whole mass of the hammerstone. I'm hitting it straight in. It's just the same as it dropping, just like this, right? But you don't have to do that. You can still use the whole mass of the hammerstone, but you usually hit in the middle on the side or something like this. This is one way too. It feels the same whenever I give it that. Ooh, that feels so good test, right? Same right here. The whole mass. I got a couple places here, one here and one here. I'm going to demonstrate. I don't have a good wide plane to hit on. I just have a tiny little point, so I'm not going to use the point of this hammerstone to demonstrate. I'm going to use the side. Take a flake along here a little bit. So for punch flake, you want, you're usually taking off a large amount of mass, or it doesn't even have to be a large amount of mass. It could be a real thin flake that goes a long way, or but usually it's built, it's heavy, it's thick underneath, and it can withstand quite a blow without breaking, even though you don't want to, you still don't want to overhit it. That feels pretty good. I hope that's not too steep, but I'm going to demonstrate it anyway. Right there. So punch flake, it hits, when you hit the rock, I described how hammerstones break when you hit and how it sends energy in. Punch flake. That's what I was going to say. Let me do it right here too. I'm using the entire mass of the hammerstone and to take these flakes, and I'm hitting it, and I'm letting the hammerstone do the work after that. It crushes, and it's sending the energy into the wave, or into the flake, and peeling it off of the core. I'm not going, it's not like strict angle overstrikes. There's no follow through that's strict and straight. You hit it, let the energy energy do the work, and just let the hammerstone fall away after that. The only requirement here is you hit it straight in, and all the energy that is used to remove the flake. There's no like follow through on other, like there is on other flakes. Rolling. Rolling. The definition of rolling is a type of scrunching that removes tiny flakes from underneath the platform, that clears the lowest edge of platform from being struck. if that sounded confusing. So let's say we took some flakes here, now we want to take some flakes here. So we clean up our deltas with some overstrikes and some brushing, and then we use some scrunching to create a platform. So you have a sharp edge that you can't hit off of, and so you have to create a platform, and you scrunch to do that, right? So we already talked about that a lot in videos. I've already scrunched to this piece and created the platform up there, so you can see, you know, where the strike points would be, about right there, right there, right there, right there, or right there, and right there. But even you do some, it's like a two-step process when you set these up for scrunching. You do your major scrunching and your minor scrunching, and the minor scrunching is the rolling I'm talking about. So you do the major scrunching, and you might still have the very edge, the bottom edge, sticking out too much. So you get a bit of a double strike where you hit the bottom edge first, which is bad because it makes it thinner now where you're striking at your normal platform, and it'll hit that and then peel the flake off. So you want to avoid that, and you avoid that by rolling. So what I'm doing is, these are tiny flakes that I'm pushing up to my striking point, not beyond it. Let me try to demonstrate and get close and hope the camera focuses. So it's kind of, when you take your braider and you braid underneath your platform and round it off, like with your carborundum, if you're using that, and you give it a grind underneath, this is the same thing. So probably was missing showing some of that. You can see where there's dust. I give it a grind, and where the new flakes are coming off, there's no dust. That's where I'm doing the rolling, and you can see it's not going, well, you might not be able to see, but describing to you that it's not going beyond my striking point. And you can also, anything you need to touch up, like, ooh, there's a tiny little high spot there, I need to fix that, you can do that at the same time. This is fine-tuning your platform to make sure that it is what you want. Okay, now if you look at the edge, you may have to go back and look at the one before, but hopefully you can see and compare. It's slightly rounded off, and then you would give it a grind, and it would be ready to strike. Thanks.